Bea, I think we're ready to begin if you want to take it away.
Well, good afternoon, and I guess for our Hawaii members, I would say good morning, but for the rest of the United States, it is afternoon. And this is Bea Vorzek. I'm Principal Manager of DCF LLC, the host of this call. And I appreciate all of you joining us for this LINC demo and webinar. I'm excited about the LINC system. I'm particularly excited that today we get to have a couple of panelists who are going to talk about their experience. They were part of the beta testing of the system and have had some very positive results and have found ways to manage through looking through a lot of different emails and determining which ones may make sense or not, but being able to help the small business community and entrepreneurs locate the resources they need, some of which may be financial and others may be technical assistance. So I appreciate everyone coming on board, and I hope that many of you find that this is a tool that you'd like to have with your CDC, because we think that it's a tool that will not only help you in your 504 lending, but can also help you with your other loan products and other resources you can provide to small businesses nationwide. We have three panelists. The first panelist is Jamie Davenport. She's Chief of the Community Advantage Division in the Office of Economic Opportunity with SBA. Welcome, Jamie. We have as two CDCs who are active in the LINC program right now, Sally Robertson, who is the NADCO board chair and who also is a member of the board of managers of DCF LLC, and she's president of Business Finance Group, Inc. And then John Croft, who's Executive Director of Growth Capital Corp. And so now I'm going to let Jamie take over and walk us through the demonstration. Jamie?
Okay, thank you very much. Let me move the slides.
Oh,
okay.
You know what, Jamie? I forgot one piece, and I apologize for interrupting as you're finding your slides. We would like people to have questions during the walkthrough and the presentations, and so you'll notice on your meeting that you have a chat box. And in that chat feature, you can actually email your questions, and then after the presentations by the three presenters, then we'll be able to address your questions based on the amount of time we have after the demo and the presentations. Thank you. And now you're on, Jamie.
Okay, great. Thank you. So thank you all for calling in for today's webinar. I'm happy to walk you through SBA's new online matchmaking service that we call LINC, which stands for Leveraging Information and Networks to Access Capital. This is a system that went live. We launched it on the SBA website on February 11th, and we've had a lot of interest in the program since then, or the tool. We call it a tool. And so we have approximately 160 lenders that are currently participating, but we'd like even more. So if you're not already participating in LINC, I hope that after this webinar you've learned more about the tool and what it can do for you, and that you might be interested in joining. So very briefly is just some background on this project. This is a project that originated from the SBA Administrator's Office last year. When looking at the SBA.gov website, it was found that the Find a Lender page on the website had more than 500,000 unique hits during last year alone. So we knew there was a lot of demand for finding lenders, and this is a tool to help borrowers connect with lenders in their communities more easily. And right now, the tool is only available to our mission lenders from the Microloan, Community Advantage, and 504 programs. Our lenders, we found, have been really excited that currently the system is open only to the mission lenders, because it's gathered a lot of interest in organizations that people otherwise might not know about in their communities. So we're really excited about the interest that has gathered for them. Just to give you a brief snapshot here on this slide for what LINC does. A prospective borrower goes to SBA's website and submits a simple online questionnaire of 21 questions about their business and the type of financing that they need. That information is then transmitted to all of the lenders that operate within that prospective borrower's county. And the lenders are given the option to either opt in to see more information about that prospective borrower or to opt out, that borrower's inquiry just doesn't match the loan products that lender might offer. For lenders that opt in to receive more information, the lender receives that borrower's contact information, and the borrower also receives the lender's contact information, so that outside of LINC, the lender can gather more information from that prospective borrower to possibly pursue a loan application. Right now, the only parameters for referrals that are in place is location, based on location, the borrower's county specifically. So a lender is only receiving, a lender identifies to SBA which counties they want to receive referrals from, and then those are the only borrower inquiries that they receive. As I mentioned, we currently have approximately 160 lenders that are participating in LINC, and they represent all 50 states and more than 70% of the loans made through our microloan, community advantage, and 504 loan programs. What I'd like to do right now is walk you through the screenshots of what you can expect as a lender participating in LINC. This is a snapshot of just the SBA.gov website here on the upper right-hand corner. LINC you'll see is in the middle right-hand of the screen. Need a loan, the SBA LINC tool, and this icon is located on every website, every site within the SBA.gov website. So it's prominently displayed all throughout SBA.gov. A prospective borrower would go to that website and would be instructed to sign in with their SBA.gov account. Users that have an SBA.gov account have access to a number of different tools, like helping to build business plans, receiving online training. There are a number of different reasons why prospective borrowers would have an SBA.gov account, and then this is one more reason why. A prospective borrower has an account, and then they can fill out this questionnaire here of 21 questions. The tool limits users from submitting the questionnaire only once per day, and that is to help cut down on the amount of spam that we might be receiving through the tool. In developing the questions for the questionnaire, we reached out last September. We started contacting some of our largest and most active lenders in the microloan, community advantage, and 504 loan programs to see what questions they would want to know the answers to before they reached out for more information and possibly developing a loan application. So these are the questions that we narrowed it down to. The first several questions, 10 or so, are very basic in terms of business name, zip code, which we use then to determine what county the borrower is located in, first and last name, which again is not made available to the lender unless the lender opts in. We get the email address and phone number also for the prospective borrower, and then we start asking some questions about the business. So we ask, how many years has the business been in existence? How many employees does the business have? And all of the responses to these questions are radio buttons with ranges, at least for how many years has the business been in existence. That one is a new or startup, existing business, etc. How many employees does the business have? That is an actual number that the borrower is able to type in. Then we also ask for estimated annual revenue, whether the business is a for-profit business, business type, such as service, retail, manufacturer. We ask, what is the total amount of financing that is being sought? And this is a range here, radio button range up to $5 million. We ask about use of proceeds, whether it's purchasing property, equipment, working capital. We ask if there's collateral available to support the loan, yes or no, and if there is, Then the borrowers are asked to fill in the amount of collateral that's available. We ask if the borrower is interested in receiving business advisory services or technical assistance, whether they have a written business plan in place, whether they've applied for a loan with another financial institution, and then we provide them with an opportunity to provide a written description of their business and why they need financing. So again, we came up with these questions after surveying some of our largest lenders to help us to determine, what they would like to see in their email notifications. Once a borrower fills out the questionnaire and submits, that information is then transmitted to all of the lenders operating within that borrower's county. The email notification is received by the lenders within 1 hour of that borrower's submission. And this is a screenshot here, an example of what that email looks like when it comes to you. It gives you all of the responses to the questions except for the contact information for that business. And if you can do a quick look here to see, for instance, the requested loan amount, the use of proceeds, to see if this prospective borrower's request might fit in with one of the loan products that you offer. And if so, then there's a link at the bottom of the email to opt in to see the borrower request or to opt out of the borrower request. What's really nice about LINC at this point is that everything is done via email, so it doesn't require you to have a separate login, to go to another web page to view the information. It all comes through the email. Again, as I mentioned, the lenders are identifying to SBA which counties you'd like to receive referrals, so that's the only way that we're filtering out prospective deals to you at the moment. In the future, we'd like to do a rollout. We're going to do a future rollout to incorporate enhancements to the system, and at that time we'd like to set additional parameters in place so that you could filter down the loans by loan amount, use of proceeds, and I know that would really help the CDCs. So in the future, we'd like to do that along with a separate screen where you could manage those parameters yourself and set up your own contacts for LINC, updating email addresses, that you'd be able to do all that on your own. At this point, that's not available, but we anticipate doing that later this year. I would suggest that if a prospective deal comes through and it doesn't meet the conditions for the loan products that you offer, that you opt out of those loans. A lot of our lenders, I think if you talk to them, you'll find that they have been surprised by the amount of email volume that this tool has generated already in just a couple short weeks. And so if the deal doesn't meet your current product offerings, don't opt in thinking that you might be able to connect that prospective borrower with other resources in your community. That's not necessary. We're transmitting this information also to SBA staff in district offices so that the district offices can reach out to those prospective borrowers that might be unmatched, that don't get matched with a lender, to find out what resources they need or if there are other lenders that those prospective borrowers should contact. So I would suggest opting out of loans that do not meet your loan program standards. So if you decide, for instance, on this example, to opt in to see the borrower request, then you come to a web page that opens just saying thank you for your interest in LINC. You will receive borrower contact information shortly, and the borrower will also receive your information shortly. Once that contact information comes to the lender, you will be sent to a web page that looks like this to receive the contact information as well as, again, as all of the answers to the borrower's questionnaire. If this is an example here of the email that the prospective borrower gets when you opt in on a deal. So the borrower receives a link to our local assistance page for SBA, which provides information on all the training and resource partners that are available in that borrower's community. And then it also shows all of the lenders that opted in on their inquiry. So it gives the organization's name, a contact person, an email, and a phone number. If the lender opts out, then the lender receives this confirmation here, thank you for opting out from the loan, and the process ends. There's no further steps for a lender that opts out of a deal. For those borrowers that are not matched with a prospective lender, they receive an email, again directing them to our local assistance page for more information on our training resources or events or other partners in their communities. And then also we're working on transmitting all of this information to the district offices so that they can reach out individually to these borrowers to provide them with more hands-on assistance. So now I just wanted to touch briefly on how to sign up for LINC, and then we'll hear from Sally and from John on their experiences. If you decide that you would like to participate in LINC, we do so by designating specific LINC contacts within your organization. You may have just one contact or you may have more than one. A lot of organizations I found they've started off with maybe one person, and now that they've been seeing what kind of deals are coming through, they've determined that they need more than one contact, and that's totally fine. So LINC contacts, you can have, those contacts can either have the same territory in terms of counties or states that they're receiving referrals from, or they can have different. So if you have one person responsible for Virginia and one person responsible for Maryland, that's fine. We can have two contacts with the two separate service areas. It's really pretty flexible in terms of how your organization works and how you want those referrals to come in. If you're not yet participating and you'd like to, then you should please email me, jamie.davenport@sba.gov. And it's really quite simple. We just need two pieces of information. The first is the contact information for your LINC contact. And for that we need name, title, email, and phone number. And also we need the counties then for which you'd like to receive the referrals for that LINC contact. And that's really it. So I'm happy to answer any questions. As I've said, the system has already gathered a lot of attention in just 2 short weeks, or I guess we're almost at 3 weeks. We've had more than 1,200 matched borrowers. So we're really excited about our experiences so far. We continue to tweak some of the small issues that we've seen since the day of our first launch. One of the big things that we're changing right now, lenders currently have 48 hours to respond to a request to opt in or opt out. So these requests are only available for a limited period of time. Currently it's available for 48 hours, and we're changing that so it's 2 business days because, of course, as soon as we started, it just so happened to be a 3-day weekend. And so the 2-day weekend, we saw universally that the 2 business days would be a much better fit for the program. So we're in the process of changing that and anticipate rolling that out within the next week. So that's one of the changes. And then as I said, over the summer or later this year, we'd like to expand on the parameters that are offered so that you can filter down the referrals that you receive even more. And also we'll be opening it up to our 7A lenders also once we expand on the ability for our lenders to manage their referrals themselves. So signing up for LINC electronically and then managing your contacts and what counties you receive referrals from, doing all that electronically. At that point, we'll be able to expand it to offer the tool to more lenders. So at that point, I think I will
Jamie,
send it over to Sally.
Before we turn it over to Sally, I've had 2 questions come in that would make more sense here than versus at the end. The first is when you opt in, how long of a delay is it until you receive the actual borrower contact info?
You should be receiving the borrower contact information immediately, although I think right now it's coming within 24 hours. And so we're working to fix that. It should be immediately. And so I'll be checking on that this week.
Thank you. And then the second one, before we go on to Sally, is if you opt in, is there a chance you will never receive the borrower's info?
If you opt in, you'll receive an email that provides you with a link to view that borrower's contact information, and you have to view that contact information within 24 hours. And I believe that's changing also to 2 business days, but I'll have to check. So there is a limited time there in which the borrower's contact information is available, and that's really for security and privacy reasons. We didn't want that information out available on the website for an extended period of time, so that's why we have the short window.
Okay, thank you. Let's move on to some feedback from Sally and John. And we have a couple more questions that have come in, but we're going to answer those at the end. So I haven't forgotten about you guys.
Well,
Sally, you want to take it away?
Sure. This is Sally Robertson. I'm the president of Business Finance Group, and we're here in the Metro D.C. area. I first heard about this LINC program at a NADCO meeting in casual conversation with Patrick Kelly at SBA, and I was very excited about it and volunteered our CDC to be a test dummy. And it's been an interesting process. We've enjoyed working with NADCO to help develop the questions that are being asked of borrowers. And I think this is a terrific opportunity for small businesses to look for financing without having to deal with those predatory online lenders. So we're very excited about it. As Jamie has mentioned, there are a couple of technology things that we're looking forward to seeing improved. One would be the 24-hour and 48-hour response times on the opt-in, opt-out, and on the applicant information. For instance, here in our area, over the 3-day holiday weekend during a storm, some of us lost power, and we did lose some of our potential applicant contact information because we had no way to get to the email to get them. So it would be nice to see that fixed. And it would be nice to also have parameters to pick and choose what kinds of information you want to receive. Or I should say what kind of inquiries you want to receive based on the information. So to tell you a little bit about how we implemented, we are doing 504 in Maryland, Virginia, D.C., and 4 West Virginia counties. We're also a Community Advantage and an ILP lender, and we cover the same territory. We have a staff of 29 folks divided into approval teams, closing teams, and servicing teams, and we have 6 504 lenders spread in our footprint. We also have a person designated as our community lender to manage the borrower contact on non-504 loans. We also have, and initially we set up a specific email for, and I was receiving all of the LINC emails. But what we've done now is we set up a separate email address for SBA LINC emails, and we have several staff who can access that email box. Our community lender is the principal person designated to check that box and respond. But we also have an office in West Virginia, and since that's a rural area, it doesn't have a high volume of 504 activity. So we designated this 504 lender as a secondary person for borrower contacts and email screening. So the 2 of them are reviewing the initial email and opting in or opting out based on the information being provided. And we tend to opt in if it looks doable to make sure that we can, get the full picture about the loan request from the borrower. If it turns out not to be doable, we're doing the same thing SBA is in terms of providing the link to the SBA resource page. And we've also had a couple of deals that we felt during conversation with the borrower were a better fit for a bank loan, and so have referred those borrowers on to some banks. We're tracking the activity through LINC, and it's a little early to tell how many of the deals are doable and how many are just not ready yet. John has some good stats. I pulled a few numbers together. We've received 58 inquiries to date. 91% of those are potential Community Advantage or ILP loans, and 9% would be potential 504s. 72% of the requests are for businesses that are less than 2 years old, so essentially startup businesses, and 50% of the requests have been for folks who only need up to $50,000, so clearly not 504 applicants there. We've only had 6 requests for loans over $250,000. To date, we've declined 6, and we have 10 that are proceeding through the application stage, and most of the rest are in various stages of gleaning information to determine whether or not it's a doable deal. But let me just say that this has been a great opportunity for CDCs. I'm really grateful to SBA for putting this together for us, and I would encourage you to join this program. You have a lot to gain and really nothing to lose, because you can look at deals and make a choice about whether you want to see more information. So I would encourage you all to get your information to Jamie and get signed up. And John, I think you're next.
Great. Sally, thank you so much. This is John Croft at Growth Capital in Cleveland, Ohio. And I got some stats together for you that you can see since the start of the program until last Friday. We received a total of 62 SBA LINC lender notifications. Since Friday, we received another 5. So between yesterday and today at about 3 o'clock, we received 5 more of those. 41% of those just didn't fit what we're looking for. A lot of those were startup businesses. Some were just not complete inquiries, so, junk in, junk out. We couldn't tell whether it was a deal for us to do or not, so we're just opting out. But of those 62 that we looked at, that we opted into, 21, or we've opted into 21. And out of those 21, 13 are viable CA prospects for us. We're both a 504 and a community advantage lender. We've turned down 4 already, but we got 3 of these prospects actually in the application process. And one we're taking to loan committee next week for an approval on a community advantage loan. So it only took Jamie, as you said, 3 weeks, and we got a loan out of it. So that's pretty exciting. We do have 2 504 prospects as well, and as was mentioned, we don't have the ability to filter out real estate requests and size requests. When we do, I think it will be a much better tool for 504 lenders. I think it's an excellent tool for us community advantage lenders. Just looking at these deals from a credit risk perspective, the prospects that we have been able to get to the beginning stages of an application, the SBA credit scores have ranged from as low as 99 to as high as 42. So these are probably going to be doable deals as long as everything else fleshes out. We're really finding that it's worth the 30 seconds it takes to review the lender notification and then take it from there. So from that standpoint, I as Sally said, would also encourage you guys to sign up and start looking at some SBA lender notifications.
Thanks, John. We have some more questions that have come in, and I think most of these are going to go to Jamie. So the first one is, how are business owners learning about LINC?
So there's been a lot of press on LINC since Administrator first announced it on February 11th. Right now, we are limiting most of the advertisements just to basically what's on the SBA.gov website, directing them to the tool. Once we refine some of the system changes that need to be implemented, then we'll be doing more social media outreach, so advertising it on Facebook and Twitter. But right now, it's pretty limited to the website, and then some of our district offices have done press releases. The administrator's speech gathered a lot of press on the tool. So there's been some of that, and we anticipate more outreach coming once we develop the system a little further.
Okay, great. Thank you. Next, we had two related questions to this. I'll read them both because I think you're going to have similar answers. Once a lender has opted in to receive information on the business, are any other lenders able to opt in? And the second portion or second question related to this is how many lenders can or will get the same lead?
Yeah, so it depends on how many lenders operate within a given county. In some counties or some states, there's a lot of lenders. For instance, in California, where there's, probably 10 lenders maybe that serve statewide in California. In that case, all of the lenders that are operating in that borrower's county, they all get the email at the same time. If one opts in, then it does not preclude other lenders from opting in later. If multiple lenders opt in, then the borrower's email that they get at the end of the 48 hours, at the end of the 2 business days, will list all of the lenders that opted in. And similarly, all of the lenders that opted in will receive the contact information. So it's not limited to just one lender per lead.
Jamie, if I could jump in on that, this is John from Growth Capital. I can tell you that we've looked at some of these and said, hey, this looks like a good prospect, and we're on the phone with them in a matter of minutes. So, we knew that there were some, there could potentially be other lenders looking at this thing, and the first one out the door is going to have a better shot of landing that deal. So, from that perspective, I think it can encourage competition that can be very healthy in supporting these small business borrowers.
Great, thanks, John. The next one is related to the statewide county portion. If they're interested in receiving referrals statewide, is it necessary to list each county in the state, or can you just say Virginia statewide?
You can just say Virginia statewide.
And that would be when they email you asking to get added?
Yes. Okay. No need, if you're doing statewide, no need to list out all the counties.
Okay, wonderful. And the next question is from Shannon. When will First Trust lenders be able to sign up? Do you have a time frame?
I've been told later this year, fiscal year 15. So the plan is during the summer months we would be implementing some enhancements that would allow them to sign up and participate at that time.
All right, wonderful. Thank you. That is the last question I have. If anyone else has any more questions, you could please send them in. Look, I had one more come in. How will the system handle multiple lenders being listed, alphabetically, randomly, first come, first serve?
I don't know the answer to that. I want to say it's alphabetically, but I'm not sure. I'll have to check on that.
Okay, thank you. All right, well, I don't have any more questions coming in. Like Jamie said, if you're interested, we'd like as many CDCs to get signed up. It's a great opportunity. All of her information can be found on the last slide that's on your screen. The slide deck is also available on the meeting wall. If you'd like to download it to have it for reference, you can do that. And then I'm going to type my email in the chat box. This is Denise at NADCO. If you have any other questions you want to send me, you can send them directly to my email. I want to thank Jamie for participating. And Bea, do you have a couple quick words you want to wrap up with?
Well, I guess I'm glad that both John and Sally really dealt with the volume and then how they were working with the volume. And John, I'm excited to hear that you had a few that came through that you picked up the phone immediately. I really think that one of the things I've learned in life is you just don't know when an opportunity is going to present itself. And it may at first appear like, well, this doesn't look like much, but you'd be surprised because every business starts small. Every business begins with an idea. And even if you can't finance those leads today, you can take them to an SBDC or to some other technical assistance provider, and they may show up at your door 2 years from now. And so I would encourage everyone to jump in. And the water's warm. give it a shot, and then I think what you may find is it's going to be worth your time to look through those emails. And if nothing else, one of the things I love about this industry is we are a bunch of helpers, and we want to help people. And this gives you the opportunity, even if you can't help them with a loan from the 504 program or Community Advantage or your local loan programs, you can offer them an assist by sending them to a provider of technical assistance so they don't end up in a predatory lending situation. I'm really grateful to Patrick for putting this tool together, and not program, as Jamie said, because I've been concerned and was concerned before I took the job as principal manager here and president of NADCO about all of the online lenders, some of whom were doing a great job in providing a valuable service, and others, though, that were more like payday or predatory lenders. This is a way for small businesses and entrepreneurs not to fall into that trap. Even if they ultimately end up with an online lender, you as a CDC community can help them go to the right one. You can get the research, find out which ones have the better reputation and will really be helpful. So I just see it from all around as a really good opportunity for CDCs and really for us to shine. So I encourage you all to do that. And I want to thank Jamie and Sally and John for giving of their valuable time. And again, as Denise said, we welcome follow-up questions. And thank you again, and I hope everyone has a nice afternoon.